See me. Today I wanted to take a look at some of the ARBs that I hit using Oddspulse, which is the company uh, that I helped to start and run. We're going to be taking a look at some ARBs between Sport Trade, Caesars, and FanDuel. I am currently live arbing out of New Jersey, United States. And you'll get to see in this video, which is on YouTube, um, without my audio on here, what my process is for each ARB that I hit over this one session. Usually for live ARBing, you break it into a session when there's a lot of games going on. This is the Friday NBA slate from a couple weeks ago, and I recorded it on my computer. And so, let's take a look at our first ARB. Okay, it looks like right away we've got the Kings and the Spurs going on here. And you can see there, let me just pause this. We've got it showing up on Oddspulse here. That's this bottom screen that Caesars has the Kings and FanDuel has the Spurs. You can see that there on FanDuel. It's kind of tough to see, but that Spurs at plus 220 money line. This is right at the start of this game, and Caesars has it as minus 200. I also have it open on Sport Trade, and it's plus 213 on the Spurs on Sport Trade. I usually like to throw the Sport Trade side in over the FanDuel side if it's both ARB between FanDuel and Sport Trade and Caesars, because Sport Trade just goes through a little faster. One thing to think about here, you can see I placed that Caesars bet a little bit before I placed this Spurs bet. And I did 2,100. I already had that loaded in there when it was minus 210. That's pretty standard bet sizing for me. I just go to win 1,000 on the negative side, and then I can throw 1,000 on that plus side. And usually after about 2 to 3 seconds of spinning on that Caesars side, it's pretty much a lock to go through. It'll spend another 3 or 4 seconds before it says it's approved. But if they reject something, it'll reject within like 2-3 seconds. So I get that side in. And then I place this Sport Trade side too while that's spinning. And now both of them are locked in. You can see that was kind of interesting there. It switched to plus 204 there, but I had already locked it in. So timing is everything on live ARBs. And you can see that with that first one. So we locked in. Looks like 31 if the Spurs win. And $50 if the Kings win. So that's a good first ARB of the day. Okay, we've got Spurs coming, or no, we've got on Oddspulse, we're looking at these totals maybe. We could also be looking at this Raptors Celtics line. I usually prefer those money lines over the totals if both are happening at the same time. And it looks like that's a Sport Trade versus Sport Trade ARB. Occasionally we do have some bad data in there for Sport Trade as we're connected straight up with them. So that top ARB you see there isn't real. I'm going to go for this Raptors and Celtics ARB. And one thing I like to do here is I only really want to take an ARB if it's like 0.8% or above live, if it's between Sport Trade and Caesars. And that's because usually at this point in the game, relatively early on, still for all the games, none of them are fourth quarter, it looks like. One basket isn't going to change the odds by more than about 0.8%. And as you get later on in the game, it's going to change a lot more than that. And also, I usually try to do that at safe times. If it's in the middle of a point or you see just a point was scored, up that number a little bit. And if it's between FanDuel, I usually go like 1%, just because the FanDuel bets take a little bit longer to go through for me. Okay, we're actually taking a look at the Knicks Wizards. This is interesting. Um, so this one maybe is not showing up here on the top of this odds poll screen. I'm sure it's below. I only got the top four. Our percentages locked in, but you can see that that's plus 127 versus minus 120. I'm probably just going to load that up and wait for it to go into a timeout because it's at ARB, but I want to save time. And you can see I'm just waiting for this one to be in a safe spot. Sometimes what I just did there was I clicked into that game on Caesars. Sometimes what can happen, and this was especially happening like a couple days before I recorded this, was Caesars will just throw a bunch of incorrect odds on that main screen. It doesn't happen all the time, and I don't think it happens in other states as much as it happens in New Jersey here. But if you click in, it'll refresh to what the actual odds are. You click out, sometimes it'll stay, sometimes it'll go back to what the bets are, but incorrect odds are. And you can also try placing the bet too to see if it goes to the correct odds. It'll just reject the bet if it's wrong. But clicking in, seeing the odds are the same, guarantees that this minus 120 is real. We still have that plus 127. And you can see I'm sort of tracking that game state. It says last field goal, Wizards 2-pointer there on the Caesar screen. Um, I'm just waiting for that to say timeout. Caesars is usually the fastest at showing that, but sometimes they're completely incorrect. You can go on whatever you want for that game state data. You can see I'm looking at the FanDuel line there too. I'm just waiting for that safe time to snipe this line. Yeah, and another thing of note there is the reason I don't like this side on FanDuel is because they got the line set at 10.5. And I don't usually like taking the alternate lines on any book other than Sport Trade because Sport Trade's the exchange, so they're not going to limit you. But I think slightly increased chance of limits on those alternate lines, live arbing on FanDuel and Caesars. FanDuel and Caesars both pretty forgiving with limits. Caesars especially. Probably gonna hit this one in a sec. Okay, now it just went into timeout there. See, I'm gonna place that Caesar side first, and then I place that Sport Trade side right after. Already been spinning. Nice, easy. Locked in a nice little $21. This is pretty much what live arbin is. You just make the easy money. Might even try hitting it again. I'm not sure. And this is how I track all the bets. I usually use just the iPhone notes. So you saw all the bets I took. All right, what we got now? All right, we got Magic and Bulls. You can see that one showing up there is 1.2% ARB on Oddspulse between Caesars and STNG. STNG, I mean, that's Sport Trade New Jersey. You can see they're at a timeout in the first quarter. We got minus 104 on one side, plus 110 on the other side. That's great. And you can see it's even minus 102 on the Bulls there. So we have a relatively good idea that Sport Trade is outlining it, but I'm guessing I probably still take the Caesar side, and then after 2 seconds of spinning, take the Magic side. Yep, and that's exactly what I do. Okay, and this is scary. So what just happened was the sport trade side, the liquidity went away on that minus 104. So now we're at minus 113. So this is going to be a small loss if we take this. Uh, Usually I don't recommend looking anywhere else if it's this small of a loss. This is like equivalent to the amount of profit you would have gotten from the ARB, a little bit less. Uh, so I would just take it, um, and then like readjust the amount in a second bet after, because you don't want to be spending too much time like sweating bet waiting for the odds to come down. I just go right away, lock in the small loss. It's only going to be probably $50 or so, and keep going. So I try to place this again here. This one was very memorable. Tried to place again. Liquidity went away again. Now we're at minus 125. I was scared. Try to place it again. Minus 111. That's okay still. Now we're at minus 115. Who knows what's going to place at minus 104. So it ends up being an ARB anyway. That's great. Kind of a lot of hassle, but now we've got one side guaranteed if the sport trade, or $1 guaranteed if sport trade side hits. And we got $140 if the other side, if the Caesar side hits. So I'll rebet that on the sport trade side, and even that out probably. Yeah, interesting sport trade experience there. You can see we got a lot of action going down when we got all these NBA games going on at the same time. Looks like I'm missing some Raptors Celtics action, some Magic Bulls. These times when there's a lot of games going on, make it really nice. Uh, like I've loaded up a Bulls bet. This is for the remainder of the hedge side there to even out the profit. So that was $70. Uh, Now we've locked in even winnings of $66 no matter who wins Bulls or Magic. Oh, we had all of our profit on the Bulls ready, didn't we? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. Which day this is from? Not sure exactly what happened with that Bulls Magic one. I don't know if I made another bet on Sports Trade and then cut off the video. Um, what? Uh, it's going to be tough to check back on that Sport Trade history, but maybe lost $66 there. Uh, Keep rolling. And it looks like we got some big college basketball arcs down there. I don't usually go for those. All right, we got Nuggets and Pelicans showing up here. Looks like that's a very small arb right now, plus 111, minus 110. We're probably just gonna watch it for a second. Sometimes whenever some action happens. Okay, so here's something. If it's close, sometimes I also check that spread, and you'll see that spread line was actually a much better ARP here. We've got Nuggets minus 1.5, Pelicans plus 1.5. We've got 100 plus 138 on the Nuggets side, minus 120 on the Pelican side. This is just a great free money glitch. You see, I'm going to try and drop a K on there, and we're at the quarter end, so this is a perfect time. So we got 1,300 on the Caesar side. Uh, that's that bet that placed. So that's a nice little free 53 on one side, 83 on the other side. Depending on who hits. Then I'm hitting this same one again. Nice little $49 if that side hits, $20 if the Caesar side hits. Just making more free money. Okay, what's going to be next? Okay, we got some Bucks for tracking. Bucks and Hornets. All right, you see that right there on Oddspulse. Plus 9.5, minus 9.5. Dang, that's a huge one. Oh, no, just moved on Caesars. Just missed that one. Moneyline's still in orb, but get back to that spread one. Spread still in orb, very small though, minus 120, plus 122. I'm probably just going to sit back and track that one. We're at that quarter break. See if maybe one side just moves a little bit. Maybe I'll just take it on a quarter break. I would maybe take this one. And you see it moved to plus 125, so that's kind of nice. Maybe take that one for a full amount. You see, I'm just fumbling around on the keyboard for sport trade, but still taking it. There we go. Got that plus 125 in. Got that Caesar side in. And we got a nice little 21 or $26, depending on the outcome there. Otherwise, that's 21 or 20. Okay.
Step into Wix Studio, the new web creation platform built for agencies.
All right, we got Cavs, Pistons showing up down there on Oddspulse. We're gonna probably take a look at that. Um, oh yeah, that's a nice one. 793. We got minus 900 over there. Okay. Now it just moved on Caesars away from pretty solid RPT now. Slight negative. All right, now we got 1055 minus 900. And in cases where it's so extreme like this, where you're only risking 300 on the sport trade side, but you'd have to risk like 3,000 on the Caesar side. I'm almost definitely going to be placing that sport trade side first. You see, we're back to that 793 minus 700. I might just go ahead and try taking that on sport trade first. I might wait until it gets a little bit better. I'm not sure exactly what I'm thinking here. Maybe I'm waiting for a time. Maybe I'm taking it. Okay, just went to plus 882, minus 900, no longer an arb. So this is a lot of what it is. You're sort of just waiting here. If you're following like a strategic method of arbs are getting close together, you're tracking. Okay, this is really good, right? Minus 550, is that what that is? And plus 686, or is that minus 650? Okay, it's minus 650. Okay, I'm still loading that up. Just getting ready. We're just tracking it down. Hit that arb. Just went to 602. That's a good sign that Caesar side. Okay, and I went for that sport trade side first. You see it switched just a little bit before that Caesar side. That's a very nice one. We get enough 100 if the Cavs win. We got 9 if the Pistons win. I'm probably gonna lever this up with a bet to take the rest of the $90 off the board and put it into the sport trade side, even it out. And you see we're at a timeout now too, so it's a safe time if you wanted to hit that 515 minus 500. Not a very large ARP, but it is an ARP sitting there at a timeout. See, someone just wiped it off the board. Now we're at plus 446. And they went down to minus 450 on this user side. Nice. But $18 covered the rest of that. So that was pretty solid ARP. All right, what do we got? Celtics Raptors. Okay, that's pretty okay for a timeout. Nice little 17 or 37. Nice, easy money. No problem there. That's just long on all those bets. Unfortunately, that Bulls bet is actually not what I thought it was, but that's okay. Just $60. Okay, now we got a Magic Bulls again here. All right, we switched off to the Nuggets here. You can see that minus 210 on Caesars. Yeah. Just something small. They're at timeout right now. Maybe it gets a little bit better. Maybe it gets a little bit worse. Just ready because it's super close. We're at timeout, probably not too dynamic. Minus 190. Let's fire away on that. Firing that away on probably Caesars first because it's minus 250 on FanDuel. Now it's minus 200. Still worth taking since we're at timeout, even though it's fourth quarter. High dynamic odds, but we're at timeout, so it's okay. And we got worst case, we can hand over to the, and you see there, that was kind of interesting. Caesars, you saw we placed this minus 200 bet, and then the odds changed as we placed, but it spun for like 3 seconds and then it changed. Usually they give it to us as long as it's spun for 3 seconds. So that's usually why I wait for about 3 seconds before I hit that sport trade side in these cases. And in this case, we had FanDuel as a backup there at plus 190. Worst case, we could just hit over there if the sport trade side went down, take a small loss. But that was a good one. We made what we got? $82 if the Nuggets take it. And we got nothing right now. If the Pelicans take it, they're probably gonna lever in another Pelicans bet here. You can see Caesars continuing to adjust that line. That was an interesting movement, minus 190 back up to minus 200, back up to minus 220, all during the timeout. Probably a lot of people hitting that on Caesars. Caesars, I usually regard as fairly sharp. So they probably are taking into account that action. And I wouldn't even be surprised if my 2000 that I dropped on the minus 200 line was what moved it from minus 200 minus 210. Definitely possible. You can see I've got 82 if the Nuggets win here. And that's just because we're not at a good price. I'm sort of waiting to make that hedge bet and minus 150. I guess I took it there. So we got 33 guaranteed there. You can see that Nuggets Pelicans is still pretty tight there. I might head over to that. Some other games. All right, we got Magic here. A minus 200 or minus 300. We got minus 335 on that side. Okay, so that one was really confusing there for people who don't use Sport Trade. That's because what we've got is we're selling on Sport Trade. They don't let you buy the other side since we already owned a lot of Magic. We were going to have to sell and then buy and think about it in that kind of framework. So since the Bulls were at plus 335 on Sport Trade, I was able to sell the Magic that I had and then buy Magic again over here at this lower price is sort of how I think about it. So I usually just do $1,000 increments of selling and buying. So I think of it as sell $1,000 of Magic, buy $1,000 at Caesars. That's the quickest way to do it in your head. But this is a sell on Sport Trade, buy on Caesars ARB. Would be really nice if Sport Trade had the ability to just buy either side. I think it would help my mental process quite a bit. I know they're working on it, but that's what we have to do for now. So that is interesting. See what I do after that. And you can see it's still an ARB there, plus 320 versus minus 300. I just wrote +7 on the Magic. That's just it's sort of tough to calculate how much you want on those buy and sell. Yeah, you have to like get out a spreadsheet afterwards and type it in. Tough to do in your head. All right, what do we got here? We got a Jazz and Suns ARB down there showing at 1.8% on the Oddspulse tool, but I've got Blazers loaded up here. And you can see since this one's on FanDuel, I put the Sport Trade over here on the right. We'll have a look at that. We got Jazz plus 255. Okay, so I am taking Jazz and Suns. And we got Suns at minus 217 over here. So that's a really nice one if we get it. Plus 280, minus 217. Okay, so this is super frustrating. You're going to have to deal with this all the time whenever you bet on books. They're going to say you've location failed to verify. That's just part of the execution. Quick, try to change it. All right, now we're at minus 212. Nice. Okay, failed to locate us again. We wanted this to be quick. Trying it again. Hit it again, 1300. Nice. That was a very big one. That was $100 if the FanDuel side wins, 113 if the Sport Trade side wins. That's a good ARB. Mm. And it looks like it's still there. I'm going to try and take it again. You can see I'm limited on how much I can bet there. Usually FanDuel lets you win about 2,000 on money line if you're limited to 10%. if all you do is live arb these main lines, I think you're probably going to be limited at 22% of the global max. But I'm at 10%. So we've got 255 minus 217. Let's make some more money. That was a nice big arb. Uh, and this is usually how it'll be. A couple great arbs throughout the day will carry your performance. And there it is again. We've got what is that? $64 if the FanDuel side wins, and we've got 19 if the Sport Trade side wins. So I'll probably lay in some more on the Sport Trade side. Be great. No complaints about that. Okay, and that 130 was from both of the two Suns Blazers bets, so we're not confused there. All right, we got Jazz Suns again. What do we got here? The spread at plus 10.5. Oh, and it looks like it's minus 8.5 on Caesar, so that plus 10.5 is probably really good. This can happen a lot in the beginning whenever one team gets out to a really big early lead, which is what the Suns are sort of doing here. They're up 13-4, pretty great starting run there. They just took a timeout. So that spread is going to be looking nice fairly often. It looks like it's loading up. So we got plus 133 there. That's very nice. First minus 122. We got $1,000 for action. We can get down there on the Sport Trade side. Get down a full 1,400 there. Nice. Got it in. That's almost $50 either way. 58 or 47. Great stuff. And that's pretty much all we got. That was all the arbs from that first slate of basketball games on that Friday. I think that was about, I don't know, maybe $300 or $400 made in a couple of hours. Very consistently, this happens. So yeah, hopefully you give it a try. Use Oddspulse. We've got some of the fastest odds, and we've got a good community. Love to have you in our Discord. We could talk about some arbs. Oh yeah, give us a look.